5 years ago, I was at one of the lowest points in my life. I was working 12, 15 hours a day on my business and was not getting anywhere. I was working relentlessly, trying to make a name for myself, trying to get my business to work, but nothing was working. I got so bad to the point where I was stuck in limbo and I just broke down crying because I had no idea what to do. No one believed in me and I felt like another naive teenager sold a bullshit dream. And it sucked because I had no money. I was making 5K one month, losing 7K the next, making 8K the next month, losing 10K the next. It was like I was taking one step forward, 10 steps back every single month, and I had no idea what to do. I felt like a failure and wanted to quit so many times. If I quit, I would probably be an accountant making 30K a year, something like that. In another universe, that's what I should be doing. But now I run an agency that does $250,000 a month, and I'm not here to sell you a course, anything like that. I've never sold a course in my life. The courses I've made have all been for free. I just want to share my experience with somebody who may have gone through exactly what I went through and show exactly what I did to get out of it. So I made a list of questions that some people asked me on Instagram to give you a bit more of a background story of me and what I've done to get to where I am today. So first question is, what are you worth now? What business do you run and what do you do to make your money? So right now, I'd say I'm worth about $2 to $3 million. It depends on the valuation of my agency and stuff like that. But I also have a lot in real estate. So I own like £1 million rental property in Abu Dhabi. I live in Abu Dhabi. So I bought one recently about 2 months ago. That's gone up a lot. I'll probably make another video on that. But yeah, all in all, probably around $2-3 million, something like that. Yeah, my agency, as I said, does about $250,000 a month. My goal for the agency is to get it to 500K by the end of the year. I think it's very possible. We're just working on a lot of lead gen stuff, which I'll make videos on exactly how we get our clients, stuff like that in the future. But that's basically how I run my business. That's how I make my money, not from any courses or anything like that. So next question is, do you sell any courses or what's your goal with this video? No, I don't sell any courses. I never have, never will. I have released courses in the past, but they've been for free. The whole goal of this video is to help a younger version of myself go through the issues and problems that I went through to get to where I am today. So next question is, what was my childhood upbringing like? So if you don't know, I'm from the UK. My parents, they weren't together for a while. So me, my mum, my sisters, we were just hopping from house to house, you know, family members, cousins, stuff like that. We would go from like London to Newcastle to Oxford to like all these different places. So it didn't really have stability growing up. You know, I changed schools a lot, stuff like that when I was younger. But eventually my parents got back together and then we started typical like corner shop Pakistanis, you know. So the funny thing is, like, growing up, like, I didn't have any money. A lot of our stuff was like handed down to me from cousins and stuff like that, or going to car boot sale, buying toys from there. You know, I'd never get it from like a shop or a department store or anything like that. It was always from a car boot sale because we just didn't have money like that growing up. So I would always have like hand-me-downs or second-hand stuff. So next question is, what was school like? So I was a very average student. I did like not well in my exams, like C's and B's like, at best, and that's me like trying every single day. I was revising, you know. I started revising from like January, and my exams were in like May, June time, you know. So I was really like trying a lot every single day, and at the end of it, I only got B's. So I realized from a young age that, look, like, school's not for me. I don't think I can make a good hack at this. And to be honest, school isn't like real life, you know. Like, it's not like you work all this time and then you have a exam and that's like your final mark. Like, no, like with business, what I like about it is you can have multiple goes at things, you know. You can consistently keep trying, and you know, you can fail, you can pick yourself back up. It's not like an exam where at the end of it, that's your grade. Like, no, you can keep trying. And the thing with me is, like, I even cheated on a lot of my tests and I still did shit. So like, even with cheating, even with like, I remember like in my exams, I don't know if I should admit this, but like on my like scientific calculator, in between the buttons, I would write down like formulas and stuff so that way I wouldn't have to remember them. Like I'd like write it really small, and still I would fail, you know. Like I didn't fail, I did like D's and C's in my GCSEs and A levels, but obviously it wasn't good enough to like get a decent uni or anything like that. Another question I get asked, I think is really good for people starting like to get into business, is that where did I get my money from when I first started? So I had about 3 grand saved up, and I used that to start my drop shipping stores. Like I mentioned earlier, my dad and my mum, they bought a corner shop, and from that corner shop I saved up about 3 grand. I was doing newspapers, waking up at like 4, 5, 6 a.m. in the morning before school, delivering papers. I'd make like 30 quid a week, and then from that I would just save it up. Never spent a penny for like a couple years. And then I used that money to invest into my first drop shipping store. And you know, I didn't waste any money. I didn't spend it on partying, drinking, anything like that. Literally, it was just save it, put it in the bank, save it, put it in the bank. That was it. I wouldn't touch it. I wouldn't do anything. You know, my dad had a corner shop, so I'd just like take like sweets and stuff from there for free. I didn't have to pay for anything. So I guess that was a benefit from working at the shop. You know, I didn't have to spend anything. My parents did look after me in that respect, so it was really good. And I didn't get distracted. You know, I didn't go out with everyone else partying, clubbing, anything like that. I just stayed at home focusing on stacking my money, and then, you know, I used that first 3 grand to invest into my drop shipping stores. And that doesn't mean to say like it was all sunshine and rainbows. No, I invested that 3 grand and I almost lost all of it because I was so broke. You know, I was trying so many different things and nothing would work. And, you know, I got to a point where I like lost like £500. I tested one product and it blew up. To be honest, I was so lucky, because if that didn't work, I don't know where I'd be today. You know, I'd probably have to ask my parents for money or whatever, which is something I never wanted to do. I never wanted to ask my parents. I never wanted to ask anyone for a single penny, because I knew if I did that, I just wouldn't feel right, you know, like I wouldn't feel, I wanted to have that ownership that, you know, I did something for myself. I actually accomplished something, because up until then, I never really accomplished anything. You know, I got C's and B's in my exams. Like, it's not really anything to show for yourself, you know. So I was doing this more for myself, to make sure that I could prove to myself that, you know, I'm worth something here. It's not like I'm just going to be another like NPC, not achieve anything, and, you know, just have that normal corporate job, becoming an accountant or whatever. So I just want to give you guys a breakdown on my journey from each year up until now. So I started in 2017 when I was 17. I'm 24 now in 2024. So 2017, I didn't make a single penny. You know, I was testing, trying to find a winning product. Like, I would do well, I would find the winning products, but then they would die out, you know. So I would make money, but I would lose it at the same time. It's not like I was making anything. So 2017 was not a good year. 2018, more the same. I wouldn't like make anything. I would, you know, make 5K, lose 10K, make 15, lose 20. I was 1 step forward, 10 steps back every single month, and it was very demoralizing. And that lasted up until like about 2020, to be honest. Like, so for 3 years, it was like that. 2020, I got my mentor because I was so fed up. You know, I had a bit of money, so I made a bit of money from ecom, like maybe like 20 grand up until then. And then I invested into my mentor. He was at 1 grand a month, and that was pretty overwhelming to me at the time. Like, paying a mentor like 1 grand a month, it's like, well, that's a lot of money. And then, you know, I invested into him, and he completely changed everything. From there, I was doing like 40, 50, 100K months. I built a brand, like I was doing really well. My mentor made the biggest impact in my life so far. If I didn't have my mentor, I don't think I would be where I am today. My mentor made the biggest difference out of anyone else that I've come across in my business. Because, yeah, without him, like, he cut out all the bullshit, you know. Like, you just told me, no, don't do this, this, and this. Just focus on this. Do more of what's working. That's what he always used to say. And now it's like I've gotten to a point where I've been able to do 100K months in ecom, and they were with like 40, 50% profit margins as well, by the way. So it was really, really good. So that was 2020. Then 2021, 2022, 2023. You know, I scaled my businesses up. We were doing like, my best year in ecom was probably about 700-800K. And that was like 40% profit margins, by the way. from an ecom brand I was running. It was like I could make a video on it. It was an Instagram meme page that I built up, and I was just selling products on it. And yeah, it was all like free traffic as well. So that's why the margins were so high. But yeah, that did really well. And then I transitioned from 2022 to 2023 into more of an agency model where I could help other people do the same things that I achieved. And then from 2023, 2024, I started running my agency. So I've been running it for 2 years now. And we've gotten up to 250K a month in that time. So why did I get into a service-based business instead of continue with ecom? So my problem with ecom is it was very inconsistent. You know, like you would do really well one month and then nothing the next. And I had a problem with that. The thing with service-based businesses is you can be more consistent with it. You know, it's like you have that reoccurring element. You can do that ecom, but it's a bit harder to do unless you do black hat, but I'm not really into that. So yeah, like the service-based model, I like it because it's a lot more consistent. You know, it's a lot more dependable for a stream of income than ecom, where, you know, you'd make a bit of money, but then you'll lose it, or, you know, you'd make 100K one month, then 20K the next. It's just not really something that I wanted to like build a family on, or, you know, like work on, because it was very stressful. Another question I get asked is, what did I learn from getting rich? You know, buying expensive car, expensive watch, £1 million apartment. Like what did I learn from this? And to be honest, like, so this is my AP. This was my dream watch. It's $40,000, like $45,000 actually. This car, my dream car, GT63S, I dreamed about this car. It's like £130,000, $160,000, I think. You know, £1 million apartment, like it's got ocean views in Abu Dhabi, it's amazing. But all these things, like it's just hedonism at the end of the day. It didn't really like do what I thought it was going to do, and this is what everyone says, you know, it's like it's a bit anticlimactic, and the truth is, like, that is exactly how it is, you know. Like, these things don't really do the same. Now, like, if I get another car like a Lambo or something, like, it's just not going to do it for me, you know, because I've already got a GT63. It's about the same price as like a used Huracan, you know. Like the better you get, the more like you need to achieve in order to get the same buzz, you know. Like it's a bit of a weird feeling, something hard to explain, but you know, these things, really what it taught me is that you shouldn't optimize for things. You should optimize to be a better person. You know, like you build better characteristics, you build better traits. You know, like I went through a lot of bullshit coming through. If I didn't go through this bullshit, I'd be very arrogant. Like you see these crypto a lot that make a lot of money overnight, stuff like that. So I'm very grateful to be where I am today, because, you know, it's made me very humble. It's made me very patient. If I didn't do that, I'd be very arrogant, you know. So you embrace these setbacks as they come. Don't focus on these monetary things, because they'll come as long as you focus on improving yourself as a person, your character, your skills, your ambitions, your goals, you know. Like, focus on that stuff. Don't focus too much on this hedonistic, like, watches and stuff like that. It's cool, don't get me wrong. I'm aiming to get an RM at the end of the year. That probably goes against everything I just said, but, you know, I like these things. I like cars, I like watches, I like being the man, you know. So these things really do it for me. So if it doesn't do it for you, you're getting it for other people, which maybe to a certain extent, maybe I am. Maybe you should reevaluate that. I do it more so now for improving myself as a person, you know, like becoming a better person, developing better skills, and these things come naturally with it anyway, you know. Another question I get asked about is my addictive personality and how that affects my religion. So as I said before, like, I used to have a big YouTube channel. Like, I was like 10th in the world at Red Dead Redemption. I was like amazing at it, and that's because I was so addicted. I was playing like for 12, 14 hours a day some days, depending on what my mum would let me do, right? So I was really addicted, and the thing is, if I wasn't Muslim, there's no way I would be able to get to where I am today. The stuff that Islam stops me from doing, you know, like drinking, messing with girls, drugs, all of this stuff, like, I know if I wasn't Muslim, because of my addictive personality, I'd be hooked on all of it and I wouldn't be able to get to where I am today. There's just no way. You know, my peers, they were going out drinking, messing with girls, partying, nightclubs, you name it, they were doing it. I was at home, I was working my business 12, 14, 15 hours a day because my religion stops me from doing it, right? So never had a girlfriend. I'll be honest, I've been to nightclubs, but that's like later down the line, just to see, you know, like obviously I don't drink or anything, so just to see the experience, what it's like. And to be honest, I wasn't missing out on much. And just last bit of advice I'll give before I end up the video, I would say make sure you gamify your business. Make it easy to succeed. And what I mean by that, you should read a book called Atomic Habits. So like well-known book, everyone talks about this book. But one part that really stuck out to me in that book is he talks about how you make everything a game. You know, like what I do, for example, is if I've got a long day and I've got a lot of work to do, what I'll do is I'll say like, look, if I get all of these tasks done, at the end of the day, I can get a takeaway. You know, so you make it like you do the work and then you get a reward, you know, so you make it easier for yourself to win. He gives an example, like if you live like 10 minutes away from a gym, you're going to be more likely to go to it than having to drive 30 minutes to your gym, you know, like if it's just a 10-minute walk, there's not really much excuse to not go to the gym. So same thing like that in business, you know, like make it as easy as possible for yourself to win, make it more rewarding, you know, stimulate your dopamine, obviously regulate it, don't, you know, like vape and do a bunch of energy drinks, because that's just going to mess up your dopamine. But, you know, regulate it as much as you can and then just restrict yourself and get rewards from certain things, and that really helps out a lot. If you found this entertaining and you got some value out of it, make sure you subscribe. I'm going to be posting a lot more content like this. Stuff to do that's not like what typical gurus do, you know, just showing off their lifestyle. Now, there's a lot of mistakes that I've made that I want to share, including buying this car, or even buying the apartment that I talked about. Like, I've made a lot of mistakes and I want to share all of them to show you guys that, one, it's okay to make these mistakes, and two, to learn from my mistakes. You know, like a smart person learns from their own mistakes, a wise person learns from someone else's.